Hello, I'm Farida, and in today's video, we're going to be finding out how much I can realistically read in a week as a uni student. Why? Literally, why? Vivian puts a X, an X, a X. But first, a book haul. I recently splurged on some books because I haven't bought books solely for my own entertainment in a while. If you don't know, I own an online thrift bookstore and all of my money has been going into that. So I've been buying books, but I haven't been buying books just for myself. So I decided to splurge a little bit and I got a few books. First up is The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. I got this because I recently read The Handmaid's Tale by the same author and I really enjoyed it. So I was curious as to what our other works were like. I'm not entirely sure what this is about. 10 days after the war ended, my sister Laura drove a car off a bridge. More than 50 years on, Irish Chase is remembering Laura's mysterious death, and so begins an extraordinary and compelling story of two sisters and their secrets. Set against a panoramic backdrop of 20th century history, The Blind Assassin is an epic tale of memory, intrigue, and betrayal. That sounds intriguing. I'm excited to read this probably, maybe sometime this week. Another book is My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I got this book off of Melissa's recommendation, and it is book one of the Neapolitan novels. The book is basically about two friends who grew up on the outskirts of Naples, and we get to see their friendship while also exploring the nation of Italy, I think. It sounds intriguing. This is very high on my TBR. I would love to get to this week. Another book that I bought also on the recommendation of Malisa. I believe this is one of our all-time favorite books. I'm not entirely sure, but this is Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Wow. Wow, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. And this book is about a young man, Charles Ryder, who goes to Oxford in the 1930s and falls in love with the family, the wealthy, eccentric, aristocratic flights, owners of a grand old country house called Brightside. Told in flashbacks from the dark days of World War II, the novel is a glimmer with the guttering candle glow of an elegant age that was already passing away. These two books I would love to read sometime this week. But right now, what I'm currently reading is One Day by David Nichols. I started this on Saturday, and that's because I read 7 Days in June on Friday. And in the ending interview, the author mentioned this book as one of the books that she loves or that was kind of an inspiration. I'm not entirely sure. And I already had this on my shelf, so I just picked it up. I'm currently on chapter 3, page 36. There's not too much going on yet, but it's basically the story of Emma and Dexter. And we get an insight into their lives on the same day every year. The day is July 15 and it starts in the year 1988. My theory is that we'll get an insight into their lives on July 15 every year for 15 years because like 15th of July, but we'll see how it happens. I believe it is a romance or a love story of some kind, but I'm not entirely sure. So I'll continue reading this and I'll let you know how far I get into it. I'll be back with an update sometime soon. Hey, it's Monday. I got back from school like an hour ago. I only had one class today, so my schedule is pretty free for the rest of the day. It's currently like, yeah, it's basically 12 p.m. right now, and I wanted to give a quick reading update. I ended up not reading one day yesterday. I just wasn't feeling it, and I was watching a YouTube video, a reading vlog, and the creator mentioned the XX, and I thought, that sounds fun. I've been hearing about that book for a while now, so I decided to just pick it up, see what it's like, and I ended up finishing the entire thing yesterday. It was only about 296 pages, and it's a very fun, light-hearted read. So it was very easy to just breeze through. It's about Vivian and Riz. Vivian puts a X, an X, a X on Riz when they are 19 and he breaks her heart, and then 9 years later Riz is back in town and the X starts to take place. But unfortunately the X is not only on Riz now but also on the entire town because there's just a mishap. So there's this old journey trying to break the X, and while they are at it, love blooms and family secrets are revealed, and it's just a very fun read. I would recommend. I rated it 5 stars. 5 stars? No, I rated it 4 stars. It was just very fun and light and cute. After finishing the XX, I started Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I've been hearing about Belladonna for a while as well, and I was just in a fantasy mood yesterday, so I picked it up. I believe I've only read like 40 pages. I'm only on like chapter 2, maybe, but it's about Signa. Sorry, I can't quite remember her name right now. She's an orphan girl who basically cannot die, and all of her guardians, ever since she was orphaned, all die kind of not mysteriously, but it's just absurd the way they all keep dying. So she basically has an interesting relationship with death, and death in this book is personified. Death is a being, and that's basically all I've gotten from it so far since I haven't read too much of it. I think I'm going to continue with Belladonna for now. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back to one day anytime soon. I'm just not really into it. I mean, I'm only 30 pages in, so like it's not like I have a lot to go off of. But I'm not feeling this right now. I'm going to continue Belladonna and get back to you. I don't have much of a reading update for you actually. On Monday, I read 8 pages. I did spend 3 hours on TikTok though, so we can see where my priorities lay apparently. On Tuesday, oh, Tuesday was so draining. I read 20 pages, so 23 pages. There's that. I guess the main problem is that I'm not reading anything that is captivating me. Belladonna is annoying me. She just got to a new guardian's place and she's told, "Oh, don't go downstairs right now. There's an event going on. We don't want you to mix with those people for right now." And she immediately goes downstairs. Girl, take a bath, dress up, relax, take a nap. Why do you have to go downstairs? Why do you have to be annoying? Felt a bit cliche for me. I don't know. I was just annoyed. I wasn't feeling it. I started one day back today. I still haven't gotten far. I only read like 5 pages before I slept off. I'm going to continue with one day though. I think I should just stick with one book for like an hour. So I'm going to set a timer for an hour and just read. And I hope that the book will get interesting and I want to stick with it for even longer. I didn't go to school today. You can probably tell that I just woke up from my nap. I guess this reading vlog is as realistic as it gets. Some days you read a lot, case in point Sunday when I finished an entire book, and then other days you read only 8 pages. Monday, when even though I had a lot of time, I decided to spend that time doom scrolling instead. TikTok is a fucking cancer, you guys. We need to stay away from that app. Yeah, let's read. By the way, I bought this book thrifted, and so it comes with annotations, and it's so fun seeing the other person's annotations while I'd add in mine. although the annotations do seem as though they were reading it for school, but still, it's still so cool to see what other people thought about it, you know? I've not been doing as much reading as I would like to do this week. On Wednesday, I made the decision to set an hour's timer to just really, really lock in and read. And I ended up getting distracted and only reading 40 pages, which is not bad, but like wasn't really my goal. And then on Thursday, I decided to go to a cafe, get some cozy reading done, order a fun drink, and just really settle in. But then the cafe started getting crowded, and I was actually really tired from the day's activities because I had classes from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. that day. And so, no, not 4 p.m., 3 p.m. So I was tired, okay, and it was getting crowded and loud in the cafe, and I just wanted to go home and lie down. So I only ended up reading 20 pages yesterday, and now today is Friday. Today I haven't been doing much all day. I've just kind of, I don't even know what I've been doing. I took out my braids, but that's about it. That's all that I've done today that is noteworthy, so to say. So, yeah, it's not been the best reading week, which sucks because on Sunday I read basically 300 pages, and that really gave me a lot of hope for the week. I thought it would be a very good reading week, but it has not been so far. And now my only goal is to finish this book before tomorrow, which is when I plan on ending this video. I'm only 100 pages in, and this is a 400-page book, so I don't really know how I plan on doing that. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's just but the book has been getting very interesting, so it might be doable. I think I've told you what the book is about, but it's about Dix and Emma and their budding friendship. Although the friendship, okay, to explain, their relationship started as a hookup, and then from there, their friendship blossomed. But because of the way that their relationship started, there's always this tension in it. But I don't think they are fit for each other. They're just very incompatible people. So I'm really curious to see how they are going to really solidify their relationship, either as friends or as more. But I'm not rooting for them romantically. As friends, sure, fine. They're good friends. They're amazing friends to one another. But as more than that, yeah, I don't want that for them. So I'm going to continue reading this now, and I hope I'll finish it by tomorrow. Hello, it's Monday. I finally finished reading One Day by David Nichols. I did not expect the turn that this had. Oh my god, I was so shocked and devastated. Why? Literally, why? I think I've already mentioned what this is about, but I'm going to reiterate regardless, just for anybody who hasn't quite gotten it yet. But Emma and Dexter meet on the night of their graduation party, and the next day they have to separate ways and, go live life. They decide to keep in touch, and we get to see over the years how their relationship evolves and how adulthood and life treats them. At first I wasn't quite feeling this book. The characters were incredibly frustrating and I wasn't really rooting for them. But by the end of it, the author had made sure that there was a very good emotional connection between the characters and the readers. And by the time you get to the end, yeah, things get a little bit sad. I was wailing last night when I finished this book. I rated it 4 stars though, and I would recommend if you want something a little bit more moving and emotional. But that sums up my realistic reading week. Throughout this week, I finished 2 books, The XX and One Day by David Nichols. I also read Belladonna. I read about 138 pages of that. So it was a good reading week. Not the best, but it was still pretty good. Like 2 books in a week is really good. My goal has always been at least 1 book per week. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good on my reading goals and I had a fun time reading those 3 books. But that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you had a fun time watching. And if you've read any of the books I read in this video, comment down your thoughts and what you felt while reading it. I hope to see you next time. Please like and subscribe. Bye.